What's good, peeps? Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Hopefully, as I always say, hopefully you're doing very, very well. Hopefully you've had a good start to the week and it's only going to get better. And that's what I hope. Realistically, a lot of you ain't doing too well, are you? Let's be honest. This world is a cruel, cruel place. So if you're not doing too well, chin up, keep pushing through. Keep pushing through. Trust me, I've been there. I know what it feels like. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to like and share the vids. You know, I normally keep my coffee. Actually, I normally do it on that side. But I don't know if you guys can you see that side? I'm not quite sure if you can anyway. But normally, anyway, I put my coffee on the edge like that. I just started filming and I was getting into it. Literally filming like a vid like I'm filming now. And I went, boom. It was always going to happen. And knocked all my coffee on the floor. Always going to happen. So I had to make myself a fresh cuppa. Here we are. Just as good as the last cuppa. Now I shall be safe and put the coffee on the table. All right, let's talk. First things first. Let's talk about a couple of things before we talk boxing. Yes, I know it's a boxing channel. I get it. But I do want to talk about a couple of other things before we talk boxing. Can I not do that? Can I not do that? Do I not give you enough boxing talk to talk about a couple of other things? Thank you. Phil Foden, Mason Greenwood, what do you guys make of it? Now, if you have been living on Mars for the last 24 hours and you're not a football fan, maybe. Some people aren't, you know. Some people just do not like football. I don't know what's wrong with you, but some people don't. You might not know what I'm talking about. Well, let me quickly update you. Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden, two young England players, play for Man City and Man United. Went away with England to play Iceland. And what did they do? They snuck a couple of girls back into their rooms. Remember, we are in this quarantine bubble, self-isolation thing, and they snuck a couple of young girls into their rooms. What do I think of this? I think a couple of things. Let me put my strict hat on. My strict older man hat says, how dare they? Like, you know, you've not got credit in the bank. You're not like 60, 70 caps deep. Do you know what I mean? You're not that. Mason Greenwood, this was your debut. I think it was Phil Foden's debut as well, I think. So you're basically two babies in the England squad. England have just played shit against Iceland. I'm about to say Ireland. Iceland. Just keep it moving. Wait till you get back to Manchester and then call as many girls as you want. If that's what you want, if that's what you're about, do it that way. The other side of me, the naughty 20-year-old side of me says, they're just kids, aren't they? They're just kids. And I don't know. I know what I was like when I was 20. Now, obviously, I wasn't a professional footballer. Obviously, I wasn't on 50, 60 grand a week, whatever they're on. But I know what I was like when I was 20. And I've spoken to a few ex-footballers about this. And yeah, they're all like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have done it, but there's always a but there. So let's give them a break. They effed up. They're clearly in trouble. You know what the thing is about Phil Foden? Phil Foden would never have done this if Manchester City were away in Europe under Guardiola. Guardiola would chew him up. So there's a big lack of respect there, I think, for Gareth Southgate. It's true. He would never have done that. I was talking to someone about this and they're like, absolutely not. Like, he would never do that. So I wonder, is it because of the senior players in and around that Manchester team? Because you look at the senior players in the England squad and who is the most capped player in that England squad? Sterling? I would argue and say Sterling's got more caps than Kane. Close, but that's the most senior player. Don't know. So maybe there's a lack of respect for everyone. But yeah, the kids, let's move on. Second thing, I did say that I've got some big news coming, right? And I'll tell you guys as soon as I can. It's weird how some of you have just jumped to conclusions. And yeah, I've said things like, Ade, is it Soccer Saturday? Look, for me, it's good news. Ain't that good? Like, Soccer Saturday is like in like Nah, ain't that good. I mean, it's good, but ain't that good. I mean, I don't know who's going to do Soccer Saturday. I'm actually at Sky tomorrow. I'm doing this transfer show again tomorrow from 10 to 11 on Sky Sports News and 1 to 2. So tune in if you can. I'm going to try and find out who it is because football starts on Saturday or Saturday. Yeah, who's doing it? I'm guessing it's going to be Clinton Morrison with obviously Jeff Stelling and I don't know who else. I have no idea. I know people were talking like Micah Richards. I don't think it is Micah Richards. I think we would have known by now, again, just because Saturday is coming up. Unless they're not doing it this Saturday. But I will find out. Ooh, I nearly done it again. I need to put the coffee on the sides. I will find out. As soon as I find out, I will let you know. All right, let's talk some box. You know what I wanted to start with? And I can't find the article, so it's going to bug me because I wanted to know the exact weights. But I wanted to start with Tony Bellew, the WBC, and this possible new weight category. Now, a lot of people have spoken about a new weight category for a while, so this isn't new news. But it does look like the WBC are thinking about it. Now, I personally think there are far too many weight categories in boxing anyway. Like, far too many. Like, just small jumps that mean very little to me now. Like, no disrespect to any of these people, but a jump from 122 to 126. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you can get people running through the weight classes now. Whereas, you know, yesteryear, like my dad would say, if he was still alive, back in my day, you had to work to jump through the weight class because there weren't these small incremental jumps. Now the jumps are so small. I mean, you can get people becoming 4 or 5 weight world champions pretty quick. And that's not a disrespect to those people, but it's true. So I think there are far too many weight classes, but the jumps from light heavy to cruiser, massive. Like, those are big jumps. And then obviously cruiser to heavyweight isn't necessarily a jump, right? But it's a case of if you're too big for cruiser, you go to heavy, but then the heavies now are so big. So even that, like, that's a jump. Obviously, it's not a weight jump because, but it's a jump. Makes sense? Because there's no category for heavyweights, right? So as soon as you are above the cruiserweight limit, you're a heavyweight. What Tony Bellew is saying is that there almost should be a super cruiserweight division. I think he's mentioned other weight ones as well, like even a division within heavyweights, but he's saying there should be a super cruiserweight division. I think there should be a couple if he's really serious about this. And I don't want there to be more weight categories, but if there is like weight jumps, there definitely should be something between light heavy and cruiser. I mean, we saw it with like the likes of Nathan Cleverly, who was a decent sized light heavy, jumped up to cruiser. It looked awful because the jump's too big. It's far too big. So I think there should be something in between that. And again, I don't want it to be more, it's weird, I'm saying there should be. If we're going to have an argument, then that makes sense. But the super cruiser that he's talking about, I mean, you look at people like Usyk would obviously be a super cruiser. For as good as Usyk is, and Usyk is skills to pay the bills, he might just be undersized. Sometimes I always think that skills are enough, but maybe he's just undersized. Deontay Wilder would be a super cruiser. Deontay Wilder is a small heavyweight. Like, Deontay Wilder is 16 stone. And that's, like, not all the time. Deontay Wilder has been really, really low in his heavyweight, in the heavyweight division. It's just because he's so tall that I think we forget how small he is. So there are a number of heavyweights, Michael Hunter, that would fit in this division. There's a lot of heavyweights that would happily come in this division. I'm not sure, man. I don't know when the last weight division was introduced. I'm not sure if it was the cruiserweight division or some of the smaller weight classes. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not quite sure. Again, this is the WBC talking about it, I believe. I mean, the WBC, again, this is why boxing needs a world governing body to make these decisions. I don't know. I just do think that jump from light heavy to cruiser, it's a big one. It's a big one. Like, I look at someone like Isaac Chamberlain, who is a cruiser, but I think he looks undersized. Like, he would benefit from a division in between that as well. He clearly can't make light heavy. Like, he can't. I think people think he's small. He's not small. He's like 6'2". He's big, but he just looks small compared to the likes of a Coley and the rest. He would benefit from a division in between. But I don't know, man. Boxing has far too many divisions for me anyway. But I can understand that argument. It's not a silly one. I mean, Tony Belly sometimes does talk some nonsense. Like when he spoke about Povetkin landing a lucky shot because he screamed after he landed the punch. Actually, I can lean it now. I can put it. There's not much in there. But yeah, I think some boxers would benefit from it, and some boxers would like it. The UFC has how many divisions? I can't think now. 7, 6, 7, and they're even thinking about 165 division. I think. Remember, their division jumps are big, you know. So when you are a champ in the UFC, I mean, you're jumping a couple. It's quite big. Like, you look like featherweight 145, then it's a 10-pound jump to 155, and then it's 170. You know what I mean? So that's quite a lot. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's move on and let's get some order in this. Order. White, I got dropped. I wasn't Sparko. I got up straight after. Don't know, man. I've seen people get dropped, right? We've all seen people get dropped, and then there's people get dropped. I mean, it wasn't a Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez knockdown. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't a Pac-Man Marquez. It wasn't that, but it was a bad knockout. It was bad. Yes, you got up, but it was bad. It was bad. So, yeah, man. What was he trying to say? Like, I'm okay, I'm fine. Okay. All right. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's fine, but I think, why are we rushing it? Like, can someone tell me, please, why are we rushing this rematch? I really don't understand the issue of waiting until next year. I actually don't get it. And this is not me not saying I don't want to see the fight, because the fight's on, I'm watching it, I'm tuning in, but I don't understand the rush back. Like, I know he's back in Portugal, you see him doing he's staying in shape, right? I get that, that's fantastic, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, like, the brain isn't supposed to be hit like that, man. Just take time, brother. Please, take time. Anthony Joshua says, Fury Wilder would not be biggest names I've fought or best I've challenged. Wilder wouldn't. Fury would. This Fury is arguably a bigger fight and better fight than Klitschko, because I know Joshua's talking about Klitschko here, I'm guessing. Remember that Klitschko was a couple of years out the ring. That Klitschko was coming off a loss. This Fury now is like up here. There's nothing wrong. With that Klitschko, there was not just a couple of years out the ring and coming off a loss. That Klitschko was 41 years old. So as much as I think that was a fantastic fight, fantastic performance, all those things, people will always label those things with it. They'll always say, oh, but it was 2 years out of the ring. Oh, it's coming off a loss, all that kind of stuff, right? Even though it wasn't a beating he took from Fury, a loss is a loss. This Fury, 30-31, what is he? 30-31. Coming off, I think, back-to-back wins against Deontay Wilder. Right, there has been no lengthy time out of the ring now. I mean, this isn't the Fury that Wilder first fought. You know, this is now legit, probably the best Tyson Fury there's ever been. This is probably it. There's a difference between, people might say the best Tyson Fury was the Tyson Fury that fought Vladimir Klitschko. Maybe. But that Tyson Fury, we still didn't know. We didn't know he was that good. Right? I thought he looked fantastic against Derek Chisora prior, but we didn't know he was that good. Now we legit know he is fucking top dog. So I'm not with AJ on this one. Tyson Fury would be the biggest name he's fought. It's not about, that's almost like that argument, what AJ's saying, it's almost like when a Canelo beats a Miguel Cotto, for example. you beat Miguel Cotto, but it's not like you fought the Miguel Cotto. So yes, AJ beat Klitschko, but it's not like AJ fought Klitschko prior to the loss. And, you know, it's not like you were fighting the Klitschko that had a 10-year reign unbeaten. You didn't fight that version of Klitschko. So yes, bigger name than Fury, but not better than this Fury now. Nah, nah, no. All right, what else we got here? What else have we got? What goodies have we got? Chavez Jr. Canelo is overrated. Loma, Spence, Crawford are better. Sour grapes, he beat you. Beat you, dude. Yeah. Sometimes I need to understand the context of these stories. I feel like I don't do these stories justice because I only just read one line and then I make up my own opinion as to what was said. I do need to, as a journalist, I do need to open up these stories, but I just can't be asked. Canelo is certainly not overrated. I think yeah, he deserves my respect. Canelo does. He really does. I thought, even in the first GGG fight, I thought GGG was going to win, but I thought GGG was going to knock him out. He stood in the pocket and traded sometimes. He's got a chin. His foot movement's gone a lot better than it was before. Before I thought it was a bit stiff. No. He's got great head movement as well. Good jab, good right hand, power. Seems to have a gas tank. See, there's not much he doesn't have. Confidence, rich. Those are not boxing things. Well, the latter isn't, but yeah, seems to have everything. Seems to have everything. I can understand how people say he's pound for pound number one. Personally, for me, I'm on the Loma pound for pound number one, just because I think Loma's just another creation. But he's above Crawford just because of CV. As much as I think Crawford's technically the better boxer, Crawford's CV ain't really saying much, is it? It ain't saying much, man. Herring recovering from cuts, scratch retina. Frampton fight could be delayed until January. Yeah, this is not good, is it? The only thing with this Herring thing, obviously Herring wants the Frampton fight just because it's that last big check as well. That's the only thing. It's the last big check. He'll probably get 7 figures, and that's why he wants it. I'm telling you now, if there was no Frampton fight on the horizon, I don't know why I just did that. Sorry. But if there's no Frampton fight on the horizon, I think he would retire because he's obviously speaking those retirement talk, or he's talking the retirement talk. His wife said he wants to retire. He said he wants to retire. This might be his last fight, blah, blah. It's only because Frampton pays good retirement money. If it was another Aquendo type where he's going to get, don't know what he got paid, $100,000, I don't know, I'm saying, chucking it out there, then I think he would say, you know what, I'm done. But it's because of the money he could make from Frampton. Hence why he wants it with a crowd back. They're probably going to do it in Northern Ireland Stadium. He'll get some good money for it. And good luck to him. Hope he does. Hope he does. Hope he does. All right, that was the last bit of coffee. Cold as well. Look, I need to get a coffee sponsor. Does anyone know anyone that has a coffee business so they can sponsor my channel? Because it just makes sense. Just makes sense having a coffee sponsor. Luke Campbell, I see myself breaking down, stopping Ryan Garcia. This is such a good fight. It is, isn't it? It really is a good fight. Boxing is really back. I like this one. Really like this one. All the fights coming up. Obviously, Teofimo Lopez, Vasil is... You know what? I'm trying to think of all the fights, and they're all America-based as well, by the way. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Of all the fights coming up, though, Teofimo Lopez... Sorry, let me get it correct. Loma, Teofimo Lopez, number 1 by a landslide. Then Charlo Rosario, I think, is number 2. Number 3... Spence Garcia is so interesting, isn't it? Just because Spence and Garcia legit as well, but mainly because of Spence. So I'll say that's number 3. Charlo Derevyanchenko. Woo! Damn. And Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell versus Ryan Garcia. We all want to see Ryan Garcia. Then after that, Gervonta Davis versus Santa Cruz. We got some good fights coming stateside, boy. Good fights coming stateside. What about this side? What about this side? Billy Joe Saunders, I saw on his I don't know what it was, Instagram Live, Twitter, whatever it was, called out Callum Smith, you know, respectfully, good fighter. Let's get it on, basically. Called out Demetrius Andrade as well, but let's forget that one for a second. Called out Callum Smith. Why can't this fight happen? Like, it's got to a point where these fighters are having to go to their own social media platforms and call out fighters. Because it's like, why can't this fight happen? The idea of Billy Joe leaving Frank was struggling to make the big fights. Am I correct? Or have I missed something, right? You've gone to Eddie Hearn, who is a bigger promoter, who has a bigger stable, maybe more reach, more connections. Make these big fights. Callum Smith is UK based. Can we just make it? Can we just make Billy Joe Saunders Callum Smith? Can we just park Canelo for a second? The winner fights Canelo. It's even a bigger fight. In fact, let's do it that way. Billy Joe Saunders has, I don't know what belt he's got anymore, WBO. Callum Smith has a WBA Ring magazine, and I think he's got a diamond belt. Chuckle that into the pot. Winner fights Canelo. It's huge. Right? And I'm sure the WBC will take that mandatory spot away from Yildirim. So you literally could have a fight where all the marbles on the table apart from Caleb Plant's IBF. Make Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, please. We're getting nothing over here, you know. We're getting nothing over here. Look at the fights I just mentioned that are happening in the States. And these fights are all going to happen in the next 2 months. Next 2 months. But we're still like, please give us Chisora Usyk, please. Anyway, maybe I can't complain. We did have Povetkin, White. That was a good one, but it's just not enough, man. It's not enough. And these fights can be made. So it's not like I just asked about a cross promotion between Frank and Eddie. Eddie. Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith is Eddie. Eddie. Come on, man. Give us it, please. I don't know, man. I don't know. What's this about AJ again? AJ, Ruiz loss highlighted everything I'd been concerned about. Oh, I got to click into that. Can I quickly click into that? I need some context here. What was he saying? There were certain things I was talking about perhaps 2 years ahead of that loss, and the defeat just showcased them, Joshua told GQ magazine. Why are you talking to GQ magazine? Why can't you talk to me? Why you got to talk to GQ? Why can't you just come on the green chair and talk to me? I know people say crazy things like, oh, we were planning on that loss, but it really was a blessing in disguise. It highlighted everything I had been concerned about. After that, it was simple. These are the changes I've been talking about. Now you need to listen. Okay, so he's talking about coming in lighter. He did come in very light. He's talking about, you know what, sometimes, it's weird. Like, obviously you don't want to lose. I mean, the last thing you want to do is lose and get embarrassed like the way he did. And it was embarrassing, like, you know, at the mecca of boxing and your US debut. But if you can take that loss and make those changes, he did come in a lot lighter. He did have add to his camp. He did start to box, and that's important. AJ started to like, okay, we need to box a bit. Before it's a case of let's just run through people because I am bigger, I am stronger. Let's run, but he did learn how to box a bit. And I think in the second fight, he showed a lot of discipline. And that discipline could sort of hold him in good stead as we go forward. Or stand him in good stead, sorry. So, yeah. All right, anything else? Did you see the Ugas versus Ramos scorecards? Joke. What a joke. Ugas won, thank God, but what a joke. I think that might be it. Let's see if it is it. Let's see if it is it. You know, 1 second. You know whose page I'm going to quickly go on to? Mike Coppinger, the man in the know. I want to go gym. That's what I want to do after this. No, he ain't got nothing. Oh my God, I forgot that, this is not even on his page, but I forgot that bloody Adrian Broner has been sentenced to 7 days in, it's not called jail in America, is it? If it's like, is it county jail or something? Joke. What a joke. All right, yeah, that's it. That's it, people. That was enough anyway, wasn't it? Peace and love.